Oh, it's always nice when everything works. First thing in the morning. Good morning, everybody. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you're on the Lifeboat. How are you? Let's do this, y'all. Shannon Smith, good to see you. Mile High Hokey, what's happening? Kristen Melinda, how are you this morning? Vixen, always a pleasure. Sandy Wandy, good to see you. Seventh Son, hello, Shannon. Hello, Teresa Baldessari. Glad that you're here. So, this is a video that I've talked about doing for as long as I've been a channel. I'm always encouraging people to start their own channel. Yeah? I'm always encouraging people to hit record and go live on YouTube. But I know Johnny's done a crap load of these. You want to be a YouTuber videos. He's done a bunch of them, and they're good. They really are. But I thought I would put my spin on this. Because number one, I think that more people need to hit record. I really do. I think that more people need to hit record. And I was in somebody's chat the other day, and somebody that's just starting out a channel. I want people to get a little bit of perspective on YouTube because I don't think a lot of you have any. The average YouTuber, right, will never get 100 views on anything they put up. The vast majority of people on YouTube don't ever get anybody that hits subscribe other than 5 or 6 friends, some family. It's kind of hard to get noticed and get rolling. And most YouTubers will tell you that the hardest number to hit isn't 100,000. It's not 50,000. It's not 20,000. It's not 10. It's 100. The hardest number for YouTubers to hit is 100. If you can pop that 100, then it's probably a foregone conclusion that if you just keep creating content, eventually you're going to get to 1,000, right? And then there are some tricks, and we'll go over them. There are some things that you can do to help get the ball rolling, so to speak. Not in the mood for the chapeau today. There are things that you stay Spiria. Good to see you. Info Dump Truck. How are you? Ben, what's happening? Bacon Bits Ben Turner. Ladybug, what's happening? So there are some tricks you can do. Now, when I got the Lifeboat up and running, you had to have 1,000 subscribers. And you had to have 4,000 hours of watch time in order to go live, right? You couldn't go live prior to, or no, you could go live. You couldn't monetize. That was what it was to monetize. But you had to have, they've changed what you have to do in order to go live. In the beginning, we couldn't do it. We had to hit a certain number. It might have been 500 or something. But nowadays, you can go live right from Jump Street or very early on in the game, which makes getting that 4,000 hours of watch time easier, right? Because this kind of content creates a crap load of hours of watch time. If you're somebody that goes out and creates 9-minute videos, right, it gets a little tougher to come up with 4,000 hours of watch time in a year. Once the channel starts to grow, you do 4,000 a good day, and you can do 4,000 hours of watch time. The Lifeboat has had 60 years of watch time, right? If you would turn the Lifeboat on and run it 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, it would take you 6 decades to watch all of the time that people have spent watching the Lifeboat. And we're a teeny little channel, right? We are not a big channel on YouTube in any way, shape, or form. We're a really small one. People get hung up on really stupid stuff when it comes to YouTube. This is the new and improved iPad. My old iPad, I could not get rid of. I have so much attachment to it. It looks remarkably like this iPad. The difference is that the crystal, the screen is just obliterated. However, it still works, oddly enough. But the first 2 years of the Lifeboat, I did on an iPad. I did on one of these. I had no computer. I had no nothing. What I had was an iPad. And I would lean that puppy up, and I would hit go live. There are people that do it with phones. Here's the best piece of advice that I can give to anybody that wants to start a YouTube channel. Hello, Kathy. Kathy says, I'll never get monetized. I can't create content quickly enough. Now, that's not entirely true, right? Here's the thing. If you want to get monetized, and it is something that you want to do. Now, here's the thing. Why get monetized in the first place? This is a pretty good question. Why is it something that is beneficial? Well, it's nice that Kathy is over 800. You got to love that. So listen, if if you're trying to get monetized, the first question is to say, why do you want to? Hey, Chili Phil, I wanted to get monetized because I wanted to be in partnership with YouTube. I had a message that I thought was really important that I really wanted to get out to the world. I didn't care if I made $1, but I thought if YouTube was involved and they had a vested interest in pushing me as a product, that I would probably get more action than if I was just coasting. And there seems to be some truth to that, right? There seems to be some truth to that. But if you get to a point where you got that 1,000 subscribers, Kath, right? And now all we need to do is get you 4,000 hours of watch time in a certain period of time. You and people like you belong to a community of individuals that support one another across the board in all kinds of different stuff. Yeah? Okay. So in doing that, we can descend the troops, and we can pop over and do, say, a 6 or a 7 hour live feed where we all get together and do and have some guests, but go live. And when you bring on a couple of people that have large audiences, their audiences come over to watch to see what's done. It's not hard manufacturing that 4,000 hours once you get to the 1,000 subscribers. It's not. It was amazing. Hello, Peter. The Netherlands, man, you gotta love that. I love it when people we get people from other countries. I love that. I really do. We are all over the world now, people. Isn't that crazy? The boat has reached many ports, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we're monetized. So the algorithm stuff, I've gone over this a couple of times before on the boat. It really tends to confuse a lot of people. The best description that I've heard of it, the one that seemed to make the most sense to me, is that, look, how much your audience engages with you on each thing that you put up determines how far out that particular video is going to get pushed. For instance, there's 100 people in here right now. They're going to look at 20,000 subs, and they're going to go, 98 people showed up for this. We're not seeing a ton of engagement. We're not seeing a ton of thumbs up. We're not seeing a ton of comments. Compared to, say, I do a video on Danny Masterson, 1,000 people show up in the first 4 minutes. And the algorithm goes, holy crap, what do we got here? So now it starts to put that content in front of a lot more people, and a lot more people come in, right? So very often people will say, you're taking the lifeboat in a different direction. I'm playing the algorithm because my goal is to jump the curb and get as far out into as many different places as I can. And then we bring it back and we start talking about the things that we talk about here all the time. But you got to know the game. And you got to be realistic. So let's be realistic. Last night, I did a show, and I got more emails on last night's show from new people that said, that is the best content I've seen you do on the Lifeboat. I appreciate it. For real. I got a lot of emails. A bunch of people reached out, really thought last night's stuff was fantastic. Sadly, 750 people saw it because the stuff that we do that can play with what's trending gets a lot more eyes on it. And sadly, people, it also gets a paycheck. Charlie Murphy, good to see you. And you know what? You do get to a point, unfortunately. I remember starting out and saying, I don't give a crap if the Lifeboat ever made $1. The key to starting a YouTube channel for us was we didn't care. When people said live content, there's no money in live content. You can't monetize the stuff, blah, blah, blah. There's no money in live content. There's no money in long form. And we didn't care because the goal was to just talk to people and do this, this peer support thing. If we could get 6 people to show up, we thought we were a success. So we were killing it from Jump Street. We didn't care. But then it starts to get bigger and you go, you know what? I'm not going to work my other job. I can actually do this full time. But when you start to do it full time, then you have to generate views. Now you actually have to start thinking like that. Right? Because if the business doesn't make enough money, then it can't sustain itself. And this now is a business. And with us, it's a real kick because if somebody calls up and says, I need help, we help them. Right? That's been the goal from the very beginning. Now, we've been blessed that the boat has gotten to a size and we have enough generous people that, we can keep it going. But I took a hit when I stopped talking about that, right? The R word. You know what? Screw it. There's 100 people. He's a rapist. And I'm not going to sit and continue to talk about the dude to get paid. He's a lowlife. When they carry him out of there in a bag or something else happens, I'm going to cover it. But I'm not going to sit and do hey, this was the day he had today, or this is what somebody said happened to him yesterday. That I'm not going to keep him relevant, right? It's not like I got, 300,000 or 400,000 people, but I got people who listen. I'm not keeping that fool relevant, but that's a pay cut, right? Good size one, people. You realize that lowlife was good for about 250,000 views a month on this channel. But I feel better not doing it. It's hard not to sell out. And when people hear the word sell out, right, and YouTube, what they think of is the guy that's got the sponsorship stuff and everything else. But selling out sometimes is just going in the direction that I could make a hell of a lot more money if I changed what the Lifeboat talked about. I promise. But I have certain things that I can talk about with relevance. Can I live from the money that I make on YouTube? That really is the ultimate question, isn't it? Here, I'm blessed in that I have projects that are going on outside of YouTube, right? I am blessed that, like, the book deal is a good example. Having the book deal, YouTube has made it so that I can make a living. Right, we're in talks with with some development teams for a reality show, actually for a couple of different shows. I think I love that idea, Rexican Messler. And this is so. But the answer to your question is, if I was not helping people, if I wasn't helping people get on medical assisted treatment, if I wasn't doing things like that, if the boat was not doing things like that, absolutely, I could sustain myself on the Lifeboat. We've reached that point. But that's the money goes out pretty much as fast as it goes in, especially because of the opioid epidemic. What's been going on with the opioid epidemic? I'll tell you, for the first time in a long time, the other day I was talking to somebody, a woman that we were trying to get into medical assisted treatment. And I said, you're probably just going to have to hold off a day, maybe two. And I got a tone. The person has asked me not to out them, but they're here. So I'm thanking them and they know who they are. But somebody sent money in. And I mean, I literally was in the process of hanging up with this person. And I said, hold on 1 second. I ran over and looked at PayPal. I said, no, we're good. So but no, there's a goodly amount of cash that can be generated. But if that's why you get into it, you're going to fail. I absolutely promise. If you get into YouTube because you want to make money, you're not going to make any money. I promise. I really want to make a channel. It'd be my interpretation of playing bass guitar and my experience with it. I'm not sure how to present it or have the equipment yet. The good news is, I'm not joking you can do it with this. That you do not. Mark Wages was great. He said he wanted to write a book and call it Ghetto YouTube. He built his channel to 50,000 people with a TV tray and a $300 laptop, right? And he's a beast. And if you ever watch the guy, here's what happened with Mark Wages, right? And this is what happened with Johnny Scoville, right? He's got 150 or 140,000 or something subscribers. If what you're talking about, you're passionate about, then you're going to be successful, right? I promise. Do you know why? Because you're passionate about it. You're not going to stop talking about it ever. So eventually you're going to become successful. Johnny Scoville's an overnight success. He's got a reality show and he's got a YouTube channel with 140,000 people, and people say stuff all the time like he's an overnight success. He's got 5,000 videos up, right? The guy's eaten a metric ton of capsaicin. Dude's not an overnight success. However, since he seems to have come out of nowhere to the rest of the world, but you follow, it's just the internet buys content, right? That's it. YouTube wants content. So if you continue to put content up, if they know that they can consistently run you as a product, you're going to consistently be there twice a day, or you're going to consistently be there twice a week, or whatever. Yeah, Cheryl, thank you, because he's gotta love Mark. But if they know that you're consistently putting stuff up and you're putting stuff up that brings some kind of a benefit to society, there are people that dig bass guitar, right? There are people that dig bass guitar. You're not going way out on a limb. I think when Johnny started doing Chase the Heat, there was probably a dozen pepper channels, maybe 15 or something like that. Man, there's no way to figure out how many pepper channels there are now or how many go up every day. And I personally, I've said from the very first day that Mark and I started this channel, we sat and fantasized, Wages and I sat and had fantasies about where this could go and you get all kinds of excited and act silly. But the great thing was we never talked about driving Ferraris. We talked about stuff like the ripples. We talked about how many channels might get sponsored off what we do, who then go out and do connections in their own way, right? But they're bringing people together and they're talking about things and they're uniting people around something. Could be bass guitar. But then you bring in all of these people that all dig bass guitar and you find out that they're not really alike in any way. They dig bass guitar, right? And you start to build friendships with people that you never would have met for any other reason. Drugs have done that for a lot of us. Sobriety has done that for a lot of us. The cult of Scientology and how bad they've been to human beings has brought a lot of people together who weren't even in that cult. But if there's a rallying point and if there's something that someone is passionate about, then you're going to feel that passion coming through, right? Reese is really a funny person, right? Reese will tell you that she doesn't understand why anybody watches her show. If the show is good, then no one will understand why anybody watches it. You just will. There's a draw. There's something about the show that makes people have a difficult time turning it off. Howard Stern, when Stern first came on, everybody's heard this cliche a gazillion times, right? But when Howard Stern first came on, they would say that the average Howard Stern fan would listen to Stern for an hour a day. And the people that said that they hated him listened for 2 hours a day. If a person is so engaging that you can't look away. Now, it's a lot harder. Lurker, what's up, Alley? It's a lot harder if the way that you get people to look is subtle, right? If you go on and you do your show with no shirt on, you're probably going to get a lot of people to watch, right? You're a topless channel, right? It's a little over the top, right? But this whole phenomenon, let's be really honest. Like I ate a tube of terror in 43 seconds and drank a bottle of tincture. And I did it to try to get a couple of hundred people, right, to join the YouTube channel before I really got rolling. Because getting those first couple of hundred. But here's the biggest problem with the big red button. When we watched TV as a kid, you couldn't start a TV channel. Right? You could watch it, you could enjoy it, but you couldn't do the same thing. You just watched it. Now we can, right? Everybody who's watching has the exact same ability to go and do what you are doing. Because of that, especially if you engage with your audience, you get to know people and those people start channels and they get frustrated to beat hell, because or they just kind of assume that they look at somebody like Reese and go, how long has Reese been had a channel? 7 months, 8 months. She has 20,500 subscribers in less than a year. If you think that's how it works, it's not how it works. It's not how it works. I've been doing this. The Lifeboat's been around for 3 years. I've put up 1,600 videos, right? To over 2,000 hours of content time to get to the same place. And for the first 2 years, we got to 2,900 or 3,000, right around the 3,000 mark before we kind of blew up. And we kind of blew up because I jumped the curb, right? I started talking about something completely different, and I went and got into the courthouse when that lowlife was being sentenced, right? That certainly was a shot in the arm to the channel. I was able to hook concept of jumping the curb. If you're that bass guitarist and you are talking uniquely about bass guitar, and all of a sudden you start meeting people, and as I said, these people live really unique lives and in really different ways, and the guy says, hey, come out and talk to us about bass guitar. But when you go out there to do that, there's something epic about where this person lives, or there's something epic going on in the world where this person lives. Just the fact that you're getting on an airplane and taking your audience somewhere else. Go look at any video I've ever done where I'm in the airport. Boom. I will do more views on that than I've done on any videos the day before or the day after, because the audience wants to go wherever you're going. They really do. They become part of your life. But they become such a part of your life that as they start to open channels, they kind of assume they're going to get to the same place pretty quickly. Just know that people don't get anywhere really quickly. If you don't love what you're starting your channel for, don't bother. Don't bother. You're going to fizzle out. The people that do it because they love doing it. They would do it if nobody watched. Plain and simple, right? They would do it for 6 people, and they would do it the exact same way. If you go back and watch the stuff that I did 2 years ago, right? Any of the live stuff, my first lives, watch all of them. Nothing's ever changed. I mean, maybe we got a little bit more laid back with one another, right? Hold on. It's a Tom Jones number. I love Tom Jones. You know what? If you guys get a look at this, this is a great example. Read that. There's your log line. Right? There's your log line. Here's an opportunity for you to read that and go, hey, I'd like to go over and check out that channel. And then you know what, people? There's nothing you can do better for somebody than to recommend their channel. If you dig what somebody does, you realize what a compliment that is to say to somebody, hey, man, you should really check out this person's stuff. Her channel is great. His channel is great, whatever. That's the highest form of compliment. I promise you. Nothing would make somebody happier. And I'll tell you what, we joke all the time. I've made a lot of jokes about this, but when I get on an airplane and someone says, what do you do? You don't want to tell them that you're a YouTuber. I'm not joking. It's one of those things that if you tell people that this is how you make a living, they look at you like you said you sell crack, right? Or that you do, you're in the adult industry, or you just get this look. And I've gotten to the point now where I don't do it. And I can't say, you know what, I work with people in the rehabilitation, and that kind of thing. Because they're going to go, oh, really? Do you work at a hospital? And then we're going to get to, no, I'm a YouTuber. And it's just going to, I've told the story, but I had a woman turn her back. I'm not even kidding. Like, she said, what do you do? I said, I'm a YouTuber. I got a YouTube channel. And she went, and just sort of gave me the shoulder blade. I was like, that's the strangest thing that's ever happened. But I'll tell you this too. The good, the bad, and the ugly, right? So here's the good. The good is my best friend's in Australia, right? I have best friends in several countries and all over the United States. I have great friendships that I have built everywhere with so many different people, and it's very real. The interactions are fantastic, and this connection has broadened me as a human being in ways that I didn't see coming in any way. I never saw this coming. In the beginning, I thought I was going to be making videos. I didn't know I was going to be doing any of this interaction stuff. But what happened is the subject matter resonated with the audience, right? More than you could possibly imagine. So what would happen is I would do a video that had 30 views, but it would have 45 or 50 comments. And Mark Wages, who is considerably smarter when it comes to things like YouTube than I will ever be, right? Mark said, this is because the audience wants really badly to interact with each other and with you. And when we have the ability to go live, he said it about 6,000 times. When we have the ability to go live, this thing is going to change. When we have the ability to go live, and we did our first live show, and I'm not joking. The comments said stuff like, this is a live channel now, right? Like this is what was supposed to happen. Because now all of a sudden, the people that knew each other from the comments section, right, now had an opportunity to say hi to one another. If you've stuck around and you've been on the channel, then you've watched us do these call-in numbers, and people that you've been watching and listening to, or reading rather, for an extended period of time, you now can hear their voices. Right? You find out so-and-so's got a New York accent, or you find out that, this person has a very, very kind of high voice, right? All of that stuff is another layer of connection. It's another layer of intimacy between not me and the audience and the audience. What we're doing is unique. It's different. I don't know that there's a model out there to compare it to. On the bright side, right from Jump Street, we have sort of bucked this thing, right? If I had $1 for every person who said to me, you cannot make $1 doing a show where all you talk about are drugs and things like that, and rehabs and all that. And in their defense, every video I did was demonetized for 2 years. And by demonetized, I don't mean strikes and all that. I just meant that it had limited ad potential, right? You get a red means you're screwed. You got a strike of some kind, and they're not going to allow that video up, right? Or if you do, you're paying somebody else for it. It's usually because of a copyright thing. The yellow means, yeah, we're going to let it up, but who really wants to run an ad on this anyway? Because you say cocaine, heroin, the algorithm is just looking for that stuff. So when you watch other channels like us, they go the white powder, or they say the dark stuff, that people put into the things, and it sounds like you're playing $20,000 pyramid. And we tried that for about 3 or 4 videos, and I felt like a blithering idiot, to be honest with you. So Mark and I talked about it, and we just said, you know what, screw it, right? I was addicted to heroin. He was addicted to pills, right? We're not going to play those games and try to censor all of that crap. They can just go ahead and give us limited monetization. And I'm not trying to convert anybody here, but I got a pretty strong faith. And my thing was, you know what, if it's not meant to be, it isn't meant to be, but I'm going to do it this way, right? Because I do believe that I'd rather do that than sound like, that it's, hey, Brandon, good to see you. That the cash is so important to me that I'm going to make it so that somebody who just comes onto the channel can't even understand what I'm talking about, right? Because let's be honest. Okay, so we need a nickname for how many drugs. Think about how many drugs are out there. Every 5 minutes, you'd be explaining to somebody what chandelier is, or what, because there's so many. Forget it. It's crystal meth. It's blow, right? It's cocaine, whatever it is. The point being, this is the I don't give a crap channel, and it has been from Jump Street. It's probably not great for business. But the beautiful thing is, the people that stick around get it, right? The beautiful thing is, we didn't set out to make money. So the fact that money started to come in was just a real bonus. We just wanted to keep people from getting wasted, if that's what they were trying to do. And we were hoping for maybe a little bit of entertainment. In fact, if you read the log line, that's never changed. We wrote that the very first day. And it says something about reimagining social media and, kind of turning this engine that has separated people, right, completely back on itself, and use it as a way to connect people and hopefully have a few laughs in the process, right? If you're not entertaining, people will not tune in. You do have to bring something, deliver something, right? It's fun. Let's be really, let's keep it real. It's not difficult. I stick around for the people. Absolutely no 2 ways about it. It's just what literally leading into what I was saying. It's not difficult to understand what the attraction is here, right? All of the people that show up here share a very similar life experiences, even if they're not in recovery, right? There's something that needs work, and they find that the rest of the world seems to be talking about other stuff, right? Now, I'm a curb hopping Jesse, people. Trust and believe. I'm going to chase stuff, and I'm going to put it up, right? I would love to have never put up anything on the early morning or the night show that isn't about rehab. Unfortunately, putting up 4 hours of content a day and helping people is impossible. It just is. I wish it were possible. It's not. So what we end up doing is we end up chasing down a whole bunch of stories, and that takes time. Then we come here and do this, and that takes time. And then, the emails and all that. You can make a decision in the beginning, and this is going to sound absolutely awful, but you can make a decision in the beginning to not answer any emails. And I would recommend that. I really would. I would recommend that. I started answering emails because in the beginning, there was no live interaction. So people in comments would say, man, I need help. Oh my God, right? It's going to be 4 hours before we get back and forth to each other on comments, right? But that's kind of what was happening. So I got the email up and said, look, drop me an email. And I answered everybody, and I was high as a kite on people saying stuff like, I didn't get high today. You got to realize I was fresh out of prison, and that literally became my drug of choice. If you're not in love with your subject matter, maybe don't start a YouTube channel with it, unless you're doing it for entertainment purposes, or you're doing it for. But if you're trying to build something that you want to build into a big channel, be in love with the subject matter. It's astounding to me how often somebody will email me and say, I really want to start a channel, and they're excited as hell, and I'll go, yeah, what do you want to start the channel about? And they're like, well, I'm not sure yet. You mean you want a channel up and running, you just don't have any idea? I mean, to me, that's bizarre. I didn't look at YouTube and go, I'd love to have a channel. Maybe I could try, this route, that route, this route. Now, don't get me wrong. If you happen to be one of those individuals that has 14 talents, and they're out there, right? They're out there. My kids are that way. My kids could do 16 different things. Not my generation. I think we're just a slightly, I don't know, man. I think the younger generation, it's probably got a lot to do with just how familiar they are with technology too. You know what I mean? Like my all of this, everything you're looking at, that my kid does all of this. I sit in front of the microphone and I hit, and I talk. Fortunately, too, I'm in a position now that I can do that. In the beginning, you could watch the frustration on my face, right? You could watch the frustration on my face. You liked the earlier content? Well, you know what? The earlier content is great. I wish I could do it every single day. I wish I could do it every single day. I wish that's all that we could do. But we shoved all our chips into the middle of the pot when we decided to do this thing full time, right? Why, thank you. I really appreciate that. I had a lot of time to kill, and I read a lot of books because I wanted to know what was wrong with me. I wasn't reading a bunch of books with the intent of doing this. Right. I did intend to go to schools. Like, that was my plan, had always been to go and talk to kids at schools and talk to parents. That had been my intent from the word go. But this works now. This is a really good plan. Yes, the power's on at Spanky's. Spanky got hosed on that one. And you know what? That was just a bummer. that whole night was a bummer. But I was going to get him. I was going to pick him up and maybe take him here or whatever. You don't want your kid in a house with no power in it. You know what I mean? But I had one leg and my jeans on, and I said, listen, I'm on my way. And right as I did, Calhoun sent me a text that said, as I was texting you, the lights just came back on. And I said, well, I'll tell you what. I'm pretty happy to get back in bed. Kathy, this is a beautiful side note. Here's what happened. So I built the Lifeboat thing, right? And you guys named it the Lifeboat. It was the Tommy Scoville show. And Mark Wages saw it and realized that my vision and his vision were the same. And he had been thinking about doing this for so long, and he had a channel and he had knowledge. What he didn't have was time. But he said, I will absolutely give you enough of my time to help you get this thing up and running a little bit smoother from the tech side. And he did, right? He made it so that I could just go and talk. He did for me what Calhoun does for me. And he would weigh in. It was a really sharp mind for rehab. Spent as much time doing what I did as I did. He did it on the street and I did it on the inside. But Mark started to read everything he could read about what was wrong with him. And, he did literally exactly what I did, except he didn't go to prison to do it. He did it on the street. But it was a really good match. The two of us, got rolling. And once the Lifeboat went live, then the crew took over. And I'm not being funny in any way. I'm really not. At that point, the early people that were here, V and Charlie and Seventh and just all of the Lady Crispin, right? Was there in the beginning. names of people that are no longer with us, sadly, that were also there. Mutiny. It was sweet mutiny. That's what it was. It was a very sweet mutiny. But and a lot of early names that aren't with us anymore, which is a bummer. But the passion for the subject matter has carried the day, and it's what gets you through, because we're 35 minutes in, and I wanted to make sure that I was 35 minutes in. Alley-oop 1230 says, not an addict. My mother is a raging narcissist, but this channel really helps. Thinking of a YouTube channel about narcissist abuse. I'll tell you what, there could be 2,000 of those channels and it wouldn't be enough, right? And guess what, people? If they will show up and listen to what I talk about here, then I promise you they will show up and listen when you talk about that. It is the right? It's the common thread that brings us together that then enables us to enjoy all of the things that make us different. So here on the Lifeboat, it's that I want to be a better person tomorrow than I am today is what pulls everybody in, right? Now, probably 80% maybe of that manifests itself in symptoms that are chemical related. Then of the other 20%, you got a lot of people that use food the same way. You got a lot of people who use gambling the same way. You got a lot of people that use sex the same way, or porn, whatever. If you're using an external coping mechanism instead of an internal coping mechanism, then you've got an issue. So anybody that is taking apart that in any direction, start a YouTube channel. Conversations with Christy. Taekwondo for life, right? Kathy, there are a lot of people here with channels. In fact, you know what? If you've got a channel, put your channel name up right now. Stick your channel name up there so that everybody can see it. If you got one, stick it up there. And you know what? This is an opportunity to support one another. Legit. And I don't just mean hit subscribe. I'm not asking you to watch something you don't like. Sorry, I don't do that. I don't have time for it. I'm sorry. And by the way, doesn't mean you don't have a great show, right? But even if it's a great show, it would need to be a really engaging one. The subject that you would have to be talking about that day, not because I am a snob, but because I work 16 hours into a 12-hour day, right? On the regular. So I just don't run into a whole lot of time that I can watch something unless I'm stealing it. Feel me? Unless what I'm watching I intend to do another show on, right? If I'm researching something, if I'm stealing it, because that's what I do. I'm a parrot. I take other people's stuff. I take it from 12 or 13 different places and I put my own spin on it. Right? Yeah, that's the true crime stuff. And I do a bunch of it. Why? Because I can. Because it's a great way to hop the curb. It's because it's one of the most popular subject matters on the internet. And it has brought me into some really incredible places, with all due respect, right? The book deal didn't come from anything other than true crime stuff. Now, I'm not playing the game, right? There you go. There you go. It's covering. The cover. Sampling. It's like a cover tuner. I'm sampling it, Calhoun. I'm just taking a little bit from this one, a little bit from that one. Yeah, I like that. Surviving the cracks. I dig it. Can we put a hyperlink up for Kathy's channel? Kathy's not a mod. Can I get a mod to put one up for, in fact, mods? If you see anybody that doesn't put a hyperlink up, do it for them, please, so that people can find their stuff easier. Let's be honest. If you can't just click on it, most people won't. Now, I've waited 40 minutes now to get to the fun part of this, right? Because if you're still listening, then you actually might want to be a YouTuber. As you become a successful YouTuber, a couple of things are going to happen, right? Someone's going to hit thumbs down. I was probably 6 weeks into my YouTube career before I got a thumbs down. I was Johnny Scoville's little brother, and most of the people that showed up to watch knew Johnny Scoville. I remember very distinctly going, "What the hell is this?" And it was a ugly, ugly comment that went with it, and I felt like I got kicked in the stomach. First of all, the person was way off base, and I was like, "Wow, dude, why is this person so angry?" You know what I mean? Like they're really, really mad. Then I did a show that was based on a story that is carved into a sign on the at one of the national parks at the base of this trailhead. A story about which wolf you're feeding. You've probably heard this. I've done a show on it, but you feed the white wolf or the dark wolf. Which one are you going to feed? And I did a story on it. And at the end, I get this comment about, either way you shake it, those wolves are being abused and blah, blah, blah. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? I read this. I promise you there are no wolves, right? This is like they're metaphorical wolves, right? Fast forward 7 months. And I got people who are trying to mail my family members pictures of the genitalia. And I got people who every single night at 12:06 threaten my life, right, with an email. You get a bunch of wackos, right? I would say if you're going to start a YouTube channel, don't do it with your real name, right? By the way, it's not going to help if you don't, right? They're going to find your real name and they're going to dox you on it, right? They did with us. And it wasn't like we were really trying to hide, right? But if so, I mean, Scoville's probably a pretty obvious, not real last name if you eat peppers, right? I don't know that people, but just know you're no longer going to be a private individual. When you hit record, things change. And when you are a public individual, people can say whatever they want about you. I'm not joking. If it doesn't do damage, right? Then they can say whatever they want. Because if I were to take you to court, and I've already, in the beginning, when you start to get bigger, you get really chapped. You call a lawyer. You're like, I can't let this person say this. He called me, you wouldn't believe it. And they go, okay, how did he damage you? What do you mean, how did he damage me? He called me a this, right? He accused me of a crime I've never committed. How is that not, well, you can sue him, but you've got to prove what damage was done in order to get paid. Well, he damaged my reputation. Okay, well, how did that cost you money? How did that cost you pain and suffering? Demonstrate it. Did you go to a doctor? Did you tell him you were stressed out? Because if somebody starts trashing you, you better go to a doctor instantly. You better start telling that doctor how stressed out you are. Because I promise, if you go to do anything about it later, so here's what you do instead. Don't become a YouTuber. Or you better just get used to the fact that people can say whatever they want about you, whatever they want. And you just got to go, hey, I'm a public persona, right? I did see a great video a guy did of me. So I had an episode. You guys probably saw it, right? It looked like a transient ischemic attack. It's something that occasionally happens because of my dome. But on camera, I did one of these. It was about 2 months ago. But somebody had juxtapositioned it right next to Mitch McConnell when he had his episode. And they would put them side by side. I'll be honest, I laughed my butt off. Now, I don't go looking for stuff. This popped up in my feed. and I laughed hysterically, and Reese and I, you've probably heard us laugh. There was a troll out there that referred to us as Chunky and the Junkie. And the both of us, I mean, when the person told us, I assumed we were in person, and I assumed the person wanted us to be bummed out. And at the same time, we lost it. It was just she said we should do a show and call it that. You need thick skin, because the stuff that's going to get thrown at you will be incredible. Now, in the beginning, it almost killed me. I'm not going to lie to you. It almost killed me. It was keeping me up, right? It was messing with my head. It really, really messed with me. And on December 4th, 2 years ago, I said, I am never going to watch another thing that somebody says about me on YouTube ever again, nor any other platform. So people reach out and they go, oh man, you got to hear what this person says. I say, no, I don't. I don't have to hear it at all. It's Schrodinger's troll, right? That's the way I look at it. Now, there could be a troll in that box, and he could be trolling me. But if I don't look in that box, doesn't really have any effect on me whatsoever. I don't watch anything about me. That takes a serious amount of discipline. It does. I promise you. I said 10 times before I actually stopped that I'm just not going to look at that crap anymore. And then I would immediately go, at about midnight and start looking to see what other people. I have not looked at one of those low lifes channels in years. Just don't go over there. I don't go over to any of them. I know one got taken down because people reached out to me to tell me that the dude got taken down, but I don't even think it had anything to do with me. But here's the thing, people. You got to understand that everybody who watches television, right, is a television watcher. Everybody that watches YouTube is a YouTube channel, right? Whether or not you realize it, creepy, you are a YouTube channel. Today, you could start posting. Our friend from the Netherlands, right? All you do, you just start posting, right? Every single person here is a channel waiting to post. So sometimes when people are not successful, they get a little salty, right? I've never seen a troll that wasn't a failed YouTuber, right? They tried to have a channel, it didn't work, so they became a troll instead. Those who can do, right? They create. Those who can't troll. They, instead of creating, since they can't, they get their stuff from tearing you down or whatever. And that's, make no mistake, they're getting fed. There is something that they get from that, right? We don't do anything without getting something out of it. I get a ton out of what I do with you guys every day. I get a ton out of it. It enriches my life massively. Make no mistake, when the haters go after you, it is enriching their life. Sick and twisted, right? Well, these are sick and twisted people. I promise. Right? Normal people don't do this. But you can let it eat you alive. And I have watched good content creators go away. People that had talent walk away because they said, you know what? It's not worth the abuse, man. It's not worth it. Why would I do this? Again, why would I do this? If at the end of the day, it comes time to go to sleep or whatever, you're thinking to yourself, the people that survived those narcissists need so badly to have someone to shine a light for them so that they have a better chance of not going through what I went through. If that keeps you awake at night, you need a YouTube channel. Feel me? For me, the prospect that 300 people a day are overdosing on dope, right? And that, to be really honest, every single person out there that's trying to help people get sober, they don't have a particularly high success rate. We talk about this a lot, but whether you're inpatient, outpatient, NA, AA, all of them, the failure rate's 90%, right? I suppose I could say the success rate is 10%, but doesn't that sound stupid? Huh? The success rate is 10%? No, no, that's not a success rate. That's a failure rate of 90%. Now, I'm not suggesting that I've inverted that and that we are 90%, but I'll bet you my eye teeth that we're better than 10. 10's pretty weak. That's weak sauce, people. Now, I have the added benefit of the fact that the people who show up here want to be here, right? Feel me? The people that come here want to come here. That's a real bonus. A lot of the people that go to AA don't want to be at AA. A lot of people that go to NA don't want to be at NA. They're court ordered and all of that. And not too much of that goes on here. I have been approved on more than one occasion in front of a judge for people, but for the most part, we're not doing a lot of that. And every time, by the way, I've never had somebody come to me and say, I'm trying to get approved, will you sign papers or whatever? In every case, it's somebody that I've been working with, has been on the boat for, 4 months or whatever. And then I find out that they've got this going on in their life. And I say, yeah, give me a chance. I'll go talk to the judge. I'll write letters. I'll do whatever. I'll back anybody that's trying to make their life better. I absolutely will back, right? But that's a lot of interaction. It is. It's a lot of interaction. If at the end of the day, right, you're worried so badly about individuals that you need to do this, then you should start a YouTube channel, right? Once Q got me sober, and I realized that had I met Q earlier in life, who knows, right? That kind of crap will keep you up. And Q is a better man than me. He is. I'm a better public speaker than he is. No way, no two ways about it. I am. He has more knowledge of the subject matter than I do at his disposal. I'm a better public speaker than he is. And it's a great combination. But when I got out, in my head, I just kept hearing over and over the ants were saying, "You're a better public speaker. You're a better public speaker," right? If I'm not doing something with everything that cat taught me, then I'm a dirt bag. So I started this with one goal and one goal only, and that was to get 6 people into some kind of support and help so that I could feel like I took what Q did and I paid it forward. And then maybe after that point, I would bail or whatever. You get addicted to the helping. You get addicted to watching people get better. You get wildly addicted to watching people get better. You know what, Deming? If I out the person, all I do is make the person. What trolls want more than anything is to be outed, right? They're a failed YouTuber. They want fame. Right? I didn't start a YouTube channel because I wanted people to know who I was, right? Most guys who get out of prison don't have a real desire to have a bunch of people know who they are and what they've done. But the people that troll, like let's say the troll's name is, no, I can't do that because everybody's got a name. Fred Flintstone, right? Fred Flintstone is trolling me so that I will go on and go, you know that Fred Flintstone piece of crap? Because everybody on the boat will go, who's Fred Flintstone? And then you'll go in and type in Fred Flintstone and you'll go over there and check out Fred's videos, right? Not because you like the dude. The guy's a scumbag, but you want to know why he's a scumbag and you want to know what he said about your boy. I'm your boy. You want to know what he said about me. This is their business model. This is how they build their business. How do I do it? I hop curbs. I talk about true crime. I talk about cults. I talk about injustice primarily, but injustice as it pertains to the legal system, injustice as it pertains to human trafficking, kids being exploited, whatever. I try to fight injustice. Honestly, as silly as it sounds, I try to fight it. You know, yeah, they're creepy as hell, man. It's but people go, you know, it's not worth it. No, it's not. It's absolutely not. It's not worth letting somebody trash you, say stuff about your family, make videos about you, take videos and then change the words that you say, right? And what are you going to do? Sue this person? Right? We're talking about a guy that's making $16,000, $18,000 a year. I'm going to go do what? You know, I think his hot sauce collection. Probably not a great business transaction or just an epic waste of time. You know? Is it worth it to put up with all of that? Absolutely not. To make videos, it's not worth it. But if you're doing more than making videos, if what you're doing when you sit down in front of the microphone isn't making videos, if what you're doing when you sit down in front of that microphone is somehow tied to your soul, well, then it's worth it. It's worth whatever crap they're going to throw at you, right? By the way, I block the dude every night at midnight, and then he changes his freaking email every single day. You got to tip your hat to pimping. That's a lot of dedication, right? It really is. And it's not a death threat. I mean, even if I got them to, it's not a death threat. What the email says is, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when you'll be found dead with a needle in your arm. Have a great day. Every single time. It's the same message. Yeah, they do what they can to try to ruffle your feathers. But I'm not saying Fred Flintstone's name on here. I promise you that. Right? Not going to do anything to bring any attention to somebody who only wants attention in life. Right? Yeah, free advertising. It's not going to happen here ever. We don't talk about trolls here, and we never will. And I would recommend to you that you don't either. It's like putting out a saucer of milk. And you see, when I first started this channel, I didn't get that memo. Right? I didn't. I should have, because Johnny told me. But I fired back. And all you got to do is fire back once. And then what happens is all of them come out of the woodwork and they go, "Ooh, that dude plays. Let's go play with him." I don't play anymore. So trolls still go after you, right? But with the exceptions of the ones that you fired back at the beginning, the new ones don't stick around. They come and they call you this, that, and you don't acknowledge them. They go, there's no benefit there. You basically got to play their game. If not, they're not progressing forward. There's a troll that gets talked about a lot because that troll goes after the SPTV community, right? Which so if the person's views, are down into the hundreds a day, man, why would you? Don't give the person any relevance, right? For real, it's all they want. Don't give them any relevance. So the question becomes, do you want to be a YouTuber? Right? Thank you, by the way, Arwa. I appreciate you, love. I really do. If you want to be a YouTuber, right? Hold on one second. If the message that you've got is gonna drive you nuts if you don't get it out, well, then you should be a YouTuber, right? Or if you're so passionate about what you're talking about, if there's nobody else out there, right, talking about what your passion is and doing it in a way that you think is done right, well, then you need a YouTube channel. I'll be honest. I thought long and hard about just talking about watches. I love it. There's a real passion there. Unfortunately, this would have killed me if I tried to keep it inside. Right? So this was not, I promise you, this was not an option for me. I had to start this YouTube channel. Tommy, I'm like Frank Abernathy and Catch Me If You Can. I'm not sure I get that reference, but I really dig it. I love that movie. On your way to women's BS Bible study, I'm hoping that means. Sending lots of love to everybody. Have a great day. Is that a Bible study you're going to? I think that's where you're going to. If so, have a great Bible study. There you go. Right. Here's the beautiful thing, people. Right. You can start helping people the day you hit play. Right. You hit record, and the very first time you go up, if it touches one person, right? Unfortunately, if it touches one person, you better not stop, right? Right? If what you're doing is touching lives, if you find out that you've got a voice, well then, I really wholeheartedly dream of a day where there are about 30 of you, right, that have really legit, solid, no joke, you've got it worked out, here's my message, YouTube channels. And I'm hoping that you guys got it done by the end of the year. I have visions. I was in the mind, I was looking into the mirror. Spanky. What do you say, my son? Is that a grandfather clock you hear chiming? No.
I heard it earlier.
Yes, you did, but it is not a grandfather clock. It is a wall clock. You know the clock, Calvin.
It is a wall clock, yeah.
Yeah,
it wants to be a grandfather clock.
If it grew up, it would be a grandfather clock. It's about 2 feet tall. It does have a swinging pendulum. And it does do the gongs. It doesn't do the Westminster, but it's hey, Tommy Stiggs. Look at that.
You made it.
You know what? I watch you every morning, Tommy. I don't usually. I've taken now to leaving a comment after your lives, but yeah, you're my show prep, man. I watch you every single morning. And everybody, if you haven't gone over and checked out Tommy Stiggs Social Club, you should. You really should. It's a very, very similar audience.
He's the Lifeboat's lifeboat.
He is the Lifeboat's lifeboat.
Let's go.
That's a great way to put it, Calhoun. He's the Lifeboat's lifeboat.
I am the son. I am the progeny.
You are the progeny, to be sure. Fluffer squirrel. Boy, there's it. You get up in the morning and you think, here's a couple of words I'm probably not going to put together in a sentence. Fluffer squirrel, thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate you. Love the name, man. Dig it. I'm just hoping for 900 by the end of 2024. Kathy, you want to bet you're going to do better than 900 by the end of 2024? I love your music. You're gonna end up, people. If you've not gone over and checked it out, you really should. She is a absolutely gifted musician, and it's another person that I listen to when I'm doing show prep, but not in the morning. She is the right before bed stuff. The rottenness and evil in me. Yeah, Zippy, I'm sorry. Love that song. Dad? I love Harvey Danger. What's that, Calhoun?
I think he means email or message or something. He's sending you something.
Okay. Yeah, please send it to me. Yeah. If it's coming live, I'll read it. If you're sending it to me, send it to tommyscoville@gmail.com. And let's get together and do a show, man. I'd love to do a show with you, Tommy. I really would. I would be.
That would be cool. I would
no
dig
question,
the crap
right?
out of that. Oh yeah.
No question, right? Hold on. I had visions I was in. You've been working with an editing coach to level up your channel. Nice. I love to hear it. Oh, here in the chat, you're going to send it in 2 minutes. Okay, I can stick around for 2 minutes. Tommy, what's up?
I was mimicking you. Yeah, I was responding to Tommy.
Yeah, I was probably going to be wrapping this up, but I could stick around for 2 more minutes. The clock on the wall says.
I really enjoyed that show you did last night. I like that.
You know what? I got a lot of positive feedback on the show that I did last night. Sadly, I would have liked to have gotten positive feedback from a few more people, but the nature of the beast is that the heavier subject matter, when we talk very specifically about dope and about sobriety and about all that, then we do run off a good sized chunk of the audience. However, it's what we do. It's why we started it. But
I think it's a good way to go about it the way we've been doing it, like bouncing back and forth between subject matters, because it maintains momentum, but doesn't burn everybody out, because it is heavy subject matter,
Yeah, absolutely. I do like the ding ding ding. Yeah, you know what? PSN. Cat Food says streaming is not for everybody. I streamed on one of the other platforms and picked up a couple of stalkers. I'm not surprised by that, and it is scary. It really is. I've said this to other people too. I'm a 200-pound, 6 foot 2 inch tall guy. Oh, I love that. I love that. You gotta love that.
Little family business, huh?
You know what? It just
How does it feel? Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
How does it feel that your business is helping people that need help?
It's a very cool thing, and it should have happened so long ago. Tommy Stiggs, I feel the exact same way. And you know something? People crap on the big red button a lot. I do too sometimes, but and people also crap on the algorithm, right? But I ended up on Tommy Stiggs Social Club because the algorithm dropped that right in my path. And it was one of those things that really and truthfully, from the first time I showed up, there's just something very homey in New York and family about it. It reminds me of my youth in such a big way, you know, and that really is a beautiful thing, right? It is. It's an absolutely beautiful thing, and I think that's the beauty of the big red button, and I think that's kind of the what we're talking about on this show today. You know what I mean? Chime and a Seiko melody. I love Seiko. Some of the bigger Seiko movements are beautiful. Oh, wow. The trolls were extremely hard to take. Yeah. Here's the thing, and I mean this 100%, right? If the subject matter wasn't what it was, there's no way I would continue to do this, right? The abuse is vicious, but the subject matter is more important than any of that. And that's what I got. That's really what I got going for me. And it doesn't hurt that I did time. Right? Because whatever these guys, what these people do, in all honesty, keyboard warriors are not particularly tough guys. You know what I mean? And all of these guys that threaten you and all that, I go to cities where they hang out. None of them ever want to come see me. You know what I mean? These are in prison, you call them cell warriors. These are the guys that are on the other side of the door. And the second they lock the door, they start screaming at you. You know what I mean? Oh, you're a dead man. They come over with those keys. The guys get real quiet. Women streamers tend to get it the worst, unfortunately. You know why, Brianna Miller? Because this is a very, very male-dominated platform. Fortunately, we don't see it as much in live content. Women gravitate toward what we're doing here. And I very much prefer a female audience to a male audience. I just, you're nicer people for the most part. I did see the message, Tommy. I absolutely loved it. It was fantastic. And please do me a favor. Send me an email, man. Even if you just shoot me an email with your email, I will. But I'd like to get together and do a show together, Tommy. I think it would be awesome. It would really be an honor. And now, people, I got to get rolling because I have appointments this morning that I have got to take care of. But thank you for spending your morning with me. It means the world to me. I'm Captain Tommy Scoble. That's my son, Spanx Calhoun. And the cat is not in the basket. She's over there mocking me from 4 feet away. You see her? Cat's got an attitude problem. What are you doing? Waiting to get by? All right, people. I will see you on the next one. All right, Calhoun. Love you.
Love you, Dad. We'll see you later.
All right. Bye-bye. And